Hello everyone, I'm back again in this last session of the Lightning Web Component. I'm Kapil Batra. I'm Salesforce MVP by title and a developer by heart. So in today's presentation, we will be having some real-time features. So technically, if I say there could be a lot of real-time feature, like every component has its own real-time feature. But for now, in today's session, we'll be discussing a few. I have selected three of them and I will be explaining like what is the feature and how you could use it in your Lightning Web Component. So let me just quickly share my screen. All right, guys. So am I audible?
Yes, Kapil, you're audible.
But I'm able to hear echo of my own voice.
Uh, with us, there's no.
Can you try to mute yourself one? Hello. Yeah, still I can see still I can hear the echo of my voice.
So,
Let me-
all are mute, all are on mute, and not
Mhm.
sure why you're facing this.
Wait. a second. I don't know, earlier it was fine, but
It seems like the community is having some issues currently.
let me reconnect my headphones. I'm not sure what is the issue. Nope, still it's same. Anyways, let's get started. But you can hear me properly, right?
Yes.
Okay, then it should be fine then. Okay. So hello everyone. So today we'll be discussing some real-time features in LWC. So I'd like to check you like just I just would like to ask you to go social. You may follow us on social media. I'm available on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube also. I'm having a YouTube channel, and you may also follow the blog as well, which is www.salesforcevault.com. Okay, so what you will learn today? So you will learn about some real-time features and scenarios that can be used or performed using Lightning Web Components. The idea behind this is just to give you an insight about some of the LWC real-time features. So as I mentioned earlier, like there could be a single feature based on a single component. So as we are having lots of components, there could be lots of features as well, the real-time features with each component. But in today's session, I'll be just covering three of them. So I'll show you real-time feature and how you can implement it using Lightning Web Component. Okay. So let's start with the first one. So the first feature in my list is Lightning Map. Okay. So sometimes maybe you are having the requirement to display a map, maybe beside an account, contacts, or in any other object where you are having address. So based on address, there could be requirement to display a map, of course. So basically, what we used to do in HTML earlier, like if you'd like to add a map in HTML, then you may simply go to maps.google.com, search for anything. Let's say if I search for this location, okay, then you may simply embed the map from here and you may simply just copy and paste that iframe in your HTML code. But the same thing is not going to work on LWC because Salesforce will basically block that iframe due to security issues. So that's why Salesforce has introduced a Lightning map. So basically, you may use the lightning map component to display a map like we used to do in HTML using iframe. So it will basically also kind of a iframe, but with a lightning tag. So the tag is lightning map. It will basically generate a map view based on address and a location, and based on the address and location, it is going to display a map layout with pins on it. Okay, so this will be a kind of a output of the lightning map which you may generate in Salesforce, and beside of Google Maps you will be having the same output. So the syntax is pretty much very simple here. So to display a map, you just have to use the lightning map. Okay, and there you just have to pass the map markers. The marker should be a collection of the location. Okay, because there could be multiple. If you are having a single location, then you may pass a single location. So consider it like an array. Okay, and also apart from the marker, you may display location information. You may pass coordinates. You may pass title of the location, and also you may have an icon on the location. Okay, so this would be a basic syntax, HTML1, I would say. And on the JavaScript thing, the controller is also pretty much very simple. So here you just have to pass the map markers array. So this is the map markers array. So in that array, you may pass list of locations. Like in this JavaScript controller, we are having only a single location, but if you are having multiple locations, then you can just pass it separated by comma. So here, if you will notice, in location, we are passing city, country, postal code, state, and street address. Okay, the value, the title of that location, and if the location needs any description. And underneath that, you may notice icon as well. So for testing purpose, we are just using the standard account icon. And there are some other attributes also which you may would like to set while creating a map. So let me show you the attributes. So these are the attributes, guys. So it is similar to the Google Maps, which we are already having in HTML. So you may drag the map using your mouse. You may pinch to zoom or zoom out. So definitely you need zoom control. You may scroll your wheel to zoom in and zoom out. So uh, for that also they are having a scroll wheel option. You may disable the default UI. So this will also containing a boolean value which could be true and false, and you may disable double click zoom. So basically, guys, in a map there could be multiple ways to zoom in and zoom out. Like you may pinch to zoom, you may use your mouse scroll, and you may use the double click. So you can disable the double click zoom as well. Okay. Now let me show you the live example of it. Okay, so this is my VS Code. So basically, I have already created the component just to save the time, because it would have taken more time if we try to create it from scratch. Yep, here it is. So this is my component, guys, and here I'm passing markers. That should be a collection of location. I'm having zoom level. So in map, basically, you will pass a zoom level as well. Like, let me show you the JavaScript side. So on zoom level, you may pass values from 1 to 22 in desktop browser. So based on the past value, you will be able to zoom the map. Okay. And apart from that, I'm having a list view attribute also here that will basically display the locations in a list format. And underneath that, I'm having the show footer as true. So it will basically show a footer underneath the map, and on that footer you may have a button to redirect user to the actual map. And by actual map, I mean the Google map. Okay, and on the HTML side, in this example, I'm having multiple locations here. So you may see like this dot map markers, and here this is my first location, and comma separated, I'm having the other location as well. So in my locations also, I'm just having the basic value like the basic city, state, country, postal code, and street address. After that, we are having title. The title will be displayed about the location, the description of the location, and the icon. Okay. So for testing purpose, we are just using some default values here, and the zoom level I'm keeping it as 10, and this is the view parameter to which I'm making it visible. Okay. Now let me show you the output of it. Uh, Let me open it. Okay. So this is a sample map, guys, based on a location from JavaScript. So you may notice if you click on a pin on map, then it will just display the title and description of the specific location. And this is the list view of that location. So it is optional, like if you'd like to keep it or not. And the same way you are having the satellite view here, you may have drag and drop functionality, have pinch to zoom functionality to zoom in or zoom out the location. So it is basically having all the features which you will be having in HTML using the, and also in footer I'm having a button which we can use to redirect user to the actual location. So whenever someone will be click on this button, so it will open a new tab containing the location. Okay, how you may get the actual location, the same location on the map also. All right. So this was the first component, guys, which you may use in some real-time scenarios. Okay. Let's move to the next one. The next one is quick action. So quick action is a very cool feature in LWC, I would say, because previously we were not having the quick actions in LWC. So basically, we have to use the Aura one, and using the Aura quick action, we may use the Lightning Web component inside that Aura quick action. But as of in summer 21 release, we are getting the Lightning quick actions to be used with the Lightning Web components. While you can currently do this with Aura component, this is the new implementation, brings some great new features. Okay. So guys, here we are having basically two kind of quick action. The first one is screen action, and the second one is headerless action. So screen action is basically the action where you will be having a pop-up on the click of the quick action, and in that pop-up, you may have a lightning web component that needs to be displayed. That must be having a screen basically. So whenever you need with some screen or with some display, then in that case you will be using the screen action there. And apart from that, like if you would like to just execute a functionality on a button's click, okay. So let's say if you would like to execute a functionality on a quick actions click, so in that case you don't need the screen actually. So in that case you may simply use the headerless quick action. So basically this uh, quick action comes with two components: the quick action, the screen action, and the headerless action. So you may just use them as per the requirement. Now let me show you a live demo of it. Okay, let me show you the screen quick action first. So this is the quick action, the screen one, where you will be having a display also on the click of a button. Okay, so here you just have to use the lightning quick action panel. In header, you may use the heading of that model pop-up or the quick action button. Also, you may add this footer div to display something in the footer. Like in this scenario, I'm just having a button in the footer, and then at the end, we are just closing the lightning quick action panel. On the JavaScript side, we are just closing the quick action model on the click of a button. And to display the quick action, you have to do some configuration updates in your XML, the meta.xml file as well. So if you'll notice here, I'm action type here, which is screen action, guys. Okay, the screen action means like it is going to be a screen quick action. There will be a screen that will be displayed whenever you will click on the quick action button. So for the screen action, the action tag should be the screen action here. Okay. Let me show you the output and how you may use it in your org itself. Okay, so this is my org, and let's apply these quick action buttons on accounts page. So you just have to go to Object Manager, open the object, go to button links and action, hit new action. Okay. Now from the action type, you may select Lightning Web Component. Then in Lightning Web Components list, you will be having list of Lightning Web Components that are compatible with the quick action functionality. So here, this is our quick action LWC, and I'm already having another quick action, which is headerless quick action. So if you will select the LWC quick action here, the screen one, then you may see the subtype here, which is the screen action. And if you will select the headerless one, so it will just say action. Okay. So for now, we are just selecting the screen action, and you may have the label here. Let's say the screen action. Okay, and save it. Okay, so we have created a screen action. Now let me open the account tab. And before that, we have to, of course, add them into the page layout. Okay, you have to go to mobile and lightning actions. And here's our screen action. So I'm putting it on the first place. Let's save it again. Okay, now let's open account. So now this is my account layout, and here you will notice a button, the screen action, and on the click of that button, we'll be having that pop-up with a Lightning Web component. So in my Lightning Web component, I was just having this text body content, and this heading was mentioned in the Lightning Quick Action tag itself. So that's how you may use the screen action in your Salesforce org. And after that, we are having headerless action. So as I mentioned earlier, you may use headerless action only when you don't want the screen to display something, and you just have to execute some functionality on the click of a button. So this is my headerless quick action. On the HTML side, the file is empty because like we will be just executing the functionality. And here you may use the invoke function, okay, to invoke your function or your code on the load of this quick action. And here on the invoke, I'm just having a console log, which is hello world. Okay. Now let's try this headerless quick action as well. And guys, for the headerless quick action, the configuration will be slightly. So the action type will be action here. So if you remember on the screen action, the action type was screen action. But here for the headerless one, the action type is action only. Okay. Now let's go to the org again. Okay, now button links and action. Let's create a new action. Same we will be using Lightning Web component. And here we'll be selecting the quick action headerless. Okay. Now let's name it headerless quick action and save it. Okay. Now we just have to add it to the page layout. This is our headerless QA. So let's drag it here as well. Okay, we are good to go now. Now let's reload the page to see the new action. So guys, you may see a new button, headerless quick action, and when you will click off this button, so it seems like nothing is happening because like you can't see anything. But if you will check the console, wait a second. Okay, somehow I'm not able to open the console here. Let me try the same room just to give you an insight. Just give me a second. Okay. Somehow it's just blocking me to open the inspect element here. So that's basically what is happening whenever you will click on this header quick action button. It will be generating a console log because like uh, that is the functionality we are having on the JavaScript. So we'll be just having the message here. So the same way, let's say if you need to update account or maybe perform any other action, that needs to be just executed after the buttons click without any screen. So in that case, you may use that. All right. So that was headerless and screen action, the quick action thing. So this is also very important feature in LWC, I would say. And definitely, if you're working as a developer, then you are going to use this functionality. Okay. So let's move to the next function. Next and the last one in this presentation, at least. So the next important function I would like to discuss here is multiple templates. I don't know whether you are aware about it or not, but in Lightning, you may use multiple templates on a single web component. So basically, whenever you are having a Lightning web component, so in the Lightning web components, you are having HTML file, JavaScript, and the XAML. And what if I say like you may use multiple HTML files with a single JavaScript in a Lightning web component? That maybe sound weird, but yes, it is possible. So in Lightning Web Component, you may use multiple templates to render a different look and feel to your user. For example, if I would say, let's say if you're using Facebook, maybe or LinkedIn. So on Facebook and LinkedIn, we are having a different page for admins and different page for viewers. Correct. But the content in most of them are same. Like there are some page and there are just some restriction on the viewer page, but overall I mean that is just a different template. Okay, so there was two options basically. Either we may create a separate page to display the separate functionality, or we may just create a separate template inside the same component. Okay, so just to make it a little bit more clear, I'm having this uh, picture here as I'm a big Marvel fan. So I thought like it would be better to, just use it as an example. So here, as you may notice, the backend functionality of these three heroes are same basically, but the front end, the template is different here. So basically, in our Lightning Web component also, there will be a single JavaScript file for multiple templates. Okay. So for that also, I'm having an example with me where I'm using three different templates. And on the backend side, on the JavaScript side, I'm just using a common JavaScript file to manage it. Okay. Let me show you the code again. So this is my component. My component name is template. And here, if you'll notice, we are having template1.html, template2.html, template3.html, and templates.javascript file. Let me open the template1.html first. So on template1, I'm having a paragraph tag which says template1. I'm having an image here which is having a logo or an JPG or a JPG file. Okay, and the image is having a URL which is SF logo one. And underneath that, I'm having three buttons: switch to template 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the same way I'm having the similar functionality on template 2 as well. Just the SRC, the image SRC, and the paragraph tag that's just different. Okay, And here also we are having same buttons with the same on-click function. And on template 3 as well, we are having same buttons with the same on-click functions, just different paragraph tag and image tag. Okay. Now let's move to the JavaScript. So in JavaScript part, basically I'm having 3 different images in 3 different HTML files. So that's why I'm already having those images in my static resource, and I'm importing the static resource here. So to use the multiple template guys, you just have to import the templates in your component first. So as you may notice here, I'm importing template 1, 2, and 3. And here I'm just importing the file name after the root URL. Okay. And underneath that, I'm importing the static resource, which are my images. And this is the default value I'm having here, just a few template, like it should display the template number 1 from the beginning. Underneath that, I'm having values of the static resource in my SF logo 2 and SF logo 3 parameter. Okay. Then I'm having a render function here, and using the render function, I'm just maintaining the rendering of those templates in my Lightning Web component. Okay. So I'm maintaining the rendering based on template number. So if show template is 1, it should return template 1. If show template is true, it should return 2. And if show template is 3, then it will return template 3 as well, HTML. Okay. And underneath that, I'm just having 3 functions. So these are the simple JavaScript function, which will just update the value of the show template parameter on the buttons click. Now let me show you the output of it. Okay. So these are the templates. So if you notice here, I'm having template 1 and an image here. Now there are 3 buttons. Now if I will click on switch to template 2, so now you may notice the HTML file has been changed on this page, but still we are on the same URL, we are on the same component. Here I'm having template 2, a different image, and same buttons here. Now if I will click on switch to template 3, so this is the template 3 with a different image and the same button. So guys, while switching the template, we are still on the same component. So for us as well, let's say if we were having some actual functionality in these templates, so basically we were also having 2 options. Either we may have a different Lightning Web component for each functionality, or we may have the different HTML only for the Lightning Web component and keep the same JS in the backend. So that will, of course, I mean that is going to save the memory, that is going to save the time here. Okay. So guys, these were the 3 scenarios or real-time features of Lightning Web Component. If you would like to check out more, then you may just follow the Lightning Web Component library. Okay. So here, Lightning Web Component library, these are the components that can be used inside a Lightning Web Component. So you may just go to this library and check the component by yourself. So that it is for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Now over to you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kapil, for such an insightful session. We have few questions for you. The first one goes here. Can we hide or show quick action button based on some condition? For example, want to hide it so that the user cannot click it again.
No, you cannot do that. But instead of that, maybe if you maybe we can just disable the on click. I mean, the button will be still clicking itself, but on the backend thing, you may deprecate the functionality based on a condition. So, for example, let's say we are having a quick action button which will be updating the account address, maybe. Okay. So let's say on the first time you are checking the account address null, then update it. But if the account address is having a value, then you may skip that, click functionality, but still you cannot just hide them.
Okay. The next question is: can we perform arithmetic operation in template? In template if or in HTML file? That's the question.
See, the Lightning Web component is collection of JavaScript, HTML, and Apex. So whatever is possible in JavaScript, that is possible in LWC as well. So yes, we may do the arithmetic operation in JavaScript as well. So why not in HTML? We can do it.
Okay. How many template can be created in one component? Like the maximum number.
The maximum number, honestly speaking, I'm not aware about it if there's a limit for it. So for that, I would recommend you to check the official document. Maybe we are having a limitation here or not. I'm also not sure about it.
And would it affect the performance if we have like a lot of templates?
See, but still, I mean, if you're having requirements to have a lot of templates, so as I mentioned earlier, you are just having two options. Either you may create a separate component for each functionality, or you may have a common component with different templates. So the common component will be more efficient as compared to the separate one. So yes, it is going to consume the memory, but not that much as compared to the separate components.
Perfect. I think that is all for today. Yeah, we don't have any questions. Thank you so much, Kapil, again for such an insightful session and answering all the questions.